Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, it's Insecure Season 5, Episode 5, entitled Surviving. Okay. I give a full episode recap with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review at the end. No need to dig around. I have all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. Molly gets it in with some amazing sex, only to finish and then notice she's missed several calls from her family members. The family is a mess with emotions in the hospital waiting room, and the doctor has bad news. The vitals don't look good, and it's best for the family to say their goodbyes. It's now time to say goodbye to Molly's mother, Carol. When they arrive into the room, it's not their mother. It's somebody else. There's been a big mix-up. Slightly relieved and excited, it's an awkward moment passing the real family to the patient. Once Molly's mom is located, the nurse requests additional information from her dad, but her father is overwhelmed. Molly discreetly tells the nurse to add her to the point of contacts list because her father may be emotionally overwhelmed. Issa wakes up at Nathan's place and to be greeted by him with a warm cup of coffee. Issa had plans to meet up with Koya, but she's out ill, and Nate had some clients canceled, so it's only a good thing to allow them to have some more quality time together. But first, Issa wants to confirm if their lunch date is still scheduled with Molly. She receives the bad news, and Nate drops off Issa at the hospital. He wants to support Issa with whatever she needs throughout the entire day. Molly's mom is medically unconscious, and the family leans on Molly for emotional support. Issa can see that Molly is very fatigued and offers to get her some food and even a change of clothes. In the meantime, they switch outfits so Molly can feel more comfortable. It's a rough morning, and Molly is grateful for Issa's presence. Nate arrives, and they admit that with everything going on, it made them call their own mothers to reach out and to tell them how much they care. It's a major wake-up call. They arrive at Molly's place to get more clothes, and Issa remembers that she has a dog that not only needs to be fed, but taken out for a walk. While Molly tries to be present with the family, she receives calls from a lover about the evening before, but she has to ignore them. It's been confirmed that Carol had a stroke, and the real estate confirmation still hasn't been completed. To add to Molly's plate, the office calls, and they need status updates concerning the case. Even though Molly is out for personal reasons, they need to validate if they need to give the case responsibilities to somebody else. Molly wants to know the deadline for the day so she can take care of the matter herself. While out walking the dog, Issa's mom is excited to spend more time with her and is flattered by her cute message. Nathan introduces himself as the new boyfriend. While having small talk, Molly's dog, without notice, releases himself from the leash. It's only a little moment after that Issa and Nate notice the dog is missing. Molly tries to take control of the situation with her mother, questioning the next steps for her mom. But the nurse confirms that it all depends on her scans and more testing since she's had a stroke before. Molly and her siblings are upset and shocked to learn that their mother has had a stroke before and it wasn't communicated. Her dad explains that it was her choice and her request not to tell anyone. She didn't want anyone to worry. Molly and Nate aren't having any luck finding the dog, Flavor Flav. Nate suggests that the dog isn't lost at all. Maybe he remembers his marking route and will go back to Molly's place. He reminisces about when he was younger and he had a dog, and the children in the neighborhood let his dog loose. He and his cousin Thomas were terrified looking for that dog because his father would always say that if you let anyone in the neighborhood mess with you, I'm gonna mess you up even worse. Gladly, after a long day of searching for the dog, when they got back home, the dog was on the porch. The doctor has news about Carol. The CT scans and MRIs are completed. There are signs of damage, unfortunately. There's a chance of possible paralysis. The stroke was very aggressive. Once the family returns to the room, now Molly must share the unfortunate news. As Issa and Nate have small talk in front of Molly's apartment building, gladly Flavor Flav returns. Issa admits that she couldn't have got through this day without Nate. He's so calm and patient. That's why she loves him so much. The comment makes Nate smile and kiss her. When Issa returns to the hospital, Molly just takes a moment to vent. She can't believe that her mom didn't communicate such important information with her. Maybe she thought she was incapable of handling certain things. Like, wow, I can't believe it. While I was out hooking up with some guy, my mom was having a stroke. She wants me to be married and have kids, and I can't even give her that. Issa brings Molly back down to earth, telling her, look, you're an amazing person. You have an amazing career. You're smart. You have a wonderful apartment and a hella smart dog. Life is unpredictable, and you have no way of knowing certain things. We can't control that stuff. You're doing the best that you can, and you're doing amazing. Don't beat yourself up. Molly admits that the bottom line of it all is probably the desire to just be kept in the loop. All I have is my family, you, and my career. I don't have anything else. Issa corrects that she has a lot in her life, and maybe she should just step away to get them a cup of coffee. As Issa walks down the hallway, she sees Condola and her son, and then later, Lawrence. Eventually, Lawrence sees Issa and they connect with eye contact. It's an awkward moment and a blow to the heart for both of them. And that is the end of the episode. And now it is time for your favorite part of the video. That's right, my review. So I posted a survey because I wanted to know how you guys were feeling about this series. I asked you all, how have you liked the final season of Insecure so far? And the choices were, this series is going well so far. This series isn't giving what it was supposed to give. And the additional storylines aren't necessary. Okay. And the winner with 67% is, the series isn't giving what it's supposed to give. Okay. So let's talk about that. I really think that this writing for this final season is that they are showing character dynamic and not necessarily storyline closing / conclusions. Okay, so let me give you an example. Okay, so with a lot of seasons, depending on the level of drama or comedic gesture, they will have several storylines, and within those storylines, they give evidence or they give this crescendo of things that happen that come to a certain conclusion. Okay, many writers, including Issa and a lot of developers of this series, have said that it's going to be one of two of things. People are either going to be confused about the series ending, or either it's going to allow the audience to come to their own conclusion about what comes next. Issa said on an interview with The Breakfast Club that we wanted to write it as if the characters are still alive, right? They're not dying at the end. It's not like they have to, do this whole montage about, how their life ended. They want the audience to have a feeling of, this is highly likely of how the characters will live and continue with the rest of their lives. I did say in previous reviews for this series that is what made The Wire such a classic show. It gives dynamic writing. The characters have a dynamic to where the audience has a good understanding and an idea of what to come next. Because in life, right, things are unpredictable. There's no telling what would have happened, but we can get a good idea about the fluidity of certain people's lives. So I can see how they can either upset the audience or leave audience members confused. It depends on the audience. It depends on if the audience has a diversified, right, palette of what you watch. If you're looking at soap operas all the time, or if you're looking at a series that needs to have a definite ending, then you're probably not going to like the ending of this show. So it's kind of like that's where we're going, because we're in this 5th episode. We're midway through the season, and there's so much that we need to go over and we need to discuss. There are additional storylines of Kelly. There are additional storylines with the now array of his life with a baby addition that's been added. We have the complexity of Tiffany and Derek's relationship, like what's going on with that. Molly's new shift in life. There are these different turns which you can say, oh no, they're concluding this, Bunny. What are you talking about? These are shifts in lifestyle. And the writers are letting us see these shifts in their lifestyle. With that brings more storyline. Example, Issa and Nate, right? We're thinking, we have a lot of people that are still like, I'm still believing, I want Issa and Lawrence to just get back together. But this is the first part when we're talking about discussion. Okay, so let's get into that. Let's just paint a whole bunch of hypotheticals for the characters and what a lot of people are wanting, right? I explained in several episodes before in the review that a lot of storylines, people want this Disney hold hands perfect ending type of stuff, when the writers are saying, hey, this is real life. Real life is being in a relationship, right? Something happens, you guys are not together anymore. You kind of move on and with different endeavors, and things happen. Case in point, Condola gets pregnant. Their joys or their ideas of, Issa and Lawrence building a relationship and trying to get that back, and then they have a life unexpectancy, and it changes the whole dynamic, which is life. It's unpredictable. This episode is showing us that even though Molly has a different turn of events, her career is getting better, she's dating, she's enjoying things personally, we have the unexpected event of her mom having a health crisis. With that, it's also showing this is real stuff, okay? You have your career, your personal, your family, right? Friendship. All of that stuff has to be balanced. And it's showing the ups and downs of life, of you got friendship right, you got career right, you got this right, and then something else happens. So it's this constantly up and down of learning how to balance it all. And it showed within this episode that even though all of those characters, even though Issa and even though Molly have had such BS when it comes to their friendships, right? When they worked on that friendship and they made those choices, they had their friendship to fall back on. When it was the ups and downs with Nate, Issa, and Lawrence, that triangle of what's going to happen with this, they're understanding each other more, Nate and Issa. Now, let's talk about what I've noticed some conversations saying in the comments and what some people have commented on my Instagram page. Why is Molly choosing Nate? Why is she in a relationship with him? He has too much going on. He has this and this, and he has this mental health issue. They don't seem right together. Okay, well, let's talk about that, right? First of all, nobody's perfect, okay? And it helps to shine light on how we view people who have mental illness. Oh, this person's bipolar, or this person's this. And do we just shun them out in the world and say, forget them, they have a problem? But relationships, you have to understand all dynamics. When you start to care and love someone, you have to carry on all of the elements that are in their lives, right? You're accepting everything that's in their lives, whether it's mental health, a handicap, a bad attitude, debts, money problems, denials, issues with family. There's a lot of stuff that people can bring, not necessarily baggage, but it's a part of their life, and it's something that they can't escape, right? Somebody that's in a wheelchair, right, for the rest of their life, okay, they're paralyzed. They can't change that. That's an element that's a piece of them, and everything connected with the personal things, the family things of being in a wheelchair, being on disability, being disabled, all of those things are coming with that person. So we're seeing this acceptance of Issa, right? Not only getting out of the situation with Lawrence and making that decision and saying, hey, you got a baby now, the relationship dynamic has totally changed. Now she's looking at Nate and even said, I love you, okay? So this person is choosing to move forward with Nate despite his mental health, okay? And a lot of people are upset with that. Why is she dealing with him? And why can't she just get with Lawrence, right? And just understand that he got a baby mama and a baby. Well, that is that character's decision. Nate has his stuff. Lawrence has his stuff. The character has made a decision that with Nate's mental health, that doesn't have more of a burden or an emotional impact to me than Lawrence having a baby mama, and not only just a baby mama, but somebody who I admired and worked with. And if, let's just paint a hypothetical, if Issa decides to get with Lawrence, she has to constantly emotionally be reminded all the time, right, of Condola and Lawrence being together. Then not only being together, but them having the baby and them being connected for the rest of their lives. This is somebody she'll constantly have to see. So she'll have to relive that moment over and over and over again with the addition of the child being there. Do you get where I'm going? So it creates discussion where the writers, in my view, want people to understand that things that you let in your life are your decision. They are things that you are allowing, right, for you to assess, deal with, right, talk about, evaluate. Because a lot of people say, oh, if Lawrence didn't have, Condola and she would have got pregnant, maybe they would have still been together. Maybe. We don't know that. But this dynamic has totally changed. So we can say a lot of stuff. We can say that, oh, they would have still been together of this and they would have still been together of that. Or they would have still been together and the relationship would have been the same if Issa didn't cheat. There are so many things that we can consider that these characters are doing. But I see what the writers are doing. They are showing lifestyle shifts with all of the characters. It's sink or swim when it's just your life. You decide what friends are you going to take with you in this new journey. I discussed that in the previous reviews, that certain friendships people view as, I've known this person since high school. I've known this person since middle school. It's a lot of stuff in our lives that don't match, right? We're growing apart, but it's this kind of underlining, I got to be loyal and this is my friend I'm going to take with me forever, when in actuality, it could be a very toxic friendship, right? If you don't come to that medium road and meet in the middle and say, hey, if we can't work on this and this and this and this, the friendship has to fizzle. The friendship has to be gone. If the friendship isn't worth more than the things that are attached to it, it's probably toxic, and it's probably those things that you can't go with. Like, I'll give a good example, right? I am career woman. I am developing an additional career. I have certain circles that I'm with when it comes now to entertainment, being very discreet. When you have a friendship that you've had for a very long time, and then they're on going down another road you don't want to go in, right? They smoking, they drinking, they fighting, they going to club, they acting a fool. I can't roll with you with that. I have to make decisions in saying, does the friendship and your behavior outweigh the benefits of us communicating? And when you evaluate everything, and it sucks that, okay, I've known this person for so many years, for such a long time, but you have to make a decision what benefits both of you, right? And, of course, you can split apart and live your lives and have this kumbaya later in life, but you have to make those decisions saying, I'm moving in this direction. Issa has a new career development with the block. Nate has a new development in mental health and getting that under control, having his prescriptions, going to the doctor. He's changed his life. He has the barbershop, with colleagues and coworkers. These are shifts. Molly has an epiphany to, maybe I should stop looking at things so seriously. I have my career. I have this. I have that. Maybe I should just chill. A lot of people are having epiphanies in their lives. Okay. And we also see the dynamic of health, which you can't control. We also see the dynamic of the realities of people can get pregnant if you're doing the things that can allow somebody to get pregnant. That is the reality of it all. And we're seeing that. And it's amazing. And some people are upset about the whole thing. Let me address one more thing. Okay. That has absolutely, it's a little bit off from the review. But let me just say that I do notice, you guys, that a lot of people, certain people watching my reviews, they take my information, my conclusions and everything, and then they say it in theirs. So that's cool, but I just want to send a shout out that I see you, my friends. I see who you are. I see you watching me, even though you don't know I'm seeing you. But anywho, so let's move on with that. I bet y'all like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? I'm just calling it like it is. So if y'all keep getting my information and then, flipping it and dipping it and then doing y'all platform, that's cool. But okay, real recognize real. Support your girl, like this video, subscribe, and share. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so let's talk about trauma, right? It was sprinkled in this episode. So Nate, while they're talking about the dog, I don't think the dog's lost. The dog can come back, because I remember when I was a kid, we had a dog, and the people in the neighborhood, they let the dog loose. And when he mentions his father, he says, yeah, because, my dad told me, if people in the neighborhood, if they was messing with me and I ain't corrected, he would, mess me up even worse. There was this pause of silence for a reason. There was a directorial decision to leave a pause of space for a reason. And Issa saying, oh, wow. Because you could hear the fear when he said that. You could hear that, even though it might not be a big deal, like, oh my goodness, the dog, got let loose and I'm being in trouble with my dad. It was this fear of what's going to happen to me if he finds out that this dog is gone, and what's going to happen to me if he told me he was going to mess me up. What is he going to do to me? It was this, he tried to laugh it off, but if you rewatch the scene, he's really disturbed and he's really afraid. If you do any of your research with psychology, anxieties and a lot of things are developed over time. And in his situation, we can get a salt grain of understanding that maybe a lot of his anxieties and feelings and emotions with his behavior correlates to his father. Maybe we don't know that, but we saw the fear. We saw him trying to laugh it off just a little bit and keep walking. But it was this moment of transparency, like, oh, this is a situation that may help us, but there was a lot of fear behind that. Him saying that, oh, we were happy to see that the dog was on the porch when we got back, but it was more, am I relieved that the dog's there, or am I relieved to not even thinking about the repercussions of what my father might have done to me, right? It's these conversations that we really got to talk about culturally when it comes to parenting. I'm not a parent, but with a lot of study in any of things dealing with anything with psychological traumas, and more Black people are starting to analyze, right, if they should reconsider spanking their children or whooping their kids, right? The fear of, I'm gonna beat you, you know what I'm saying? And the fear and the anger behind that. And what is that thin line of discipline, fear, and me not feeling like I can come to you and I'm afraid of you? It's slowly starting to be have this spotlight of discussion and how we talk to children and how we communicate with children. And then those children who are now adults have communication issues, who have issues when it comes to talking about certain situations, and that being correlated with abuse and domestic violence. And it's just all of these dots that are connecting with one another. And if you've never experienced it, at least it's this aha moment of, we should talk about that. And just because certain parents did this, it doesn't mean that we need to continue it for the next generation. So just those few seconds, I noticed within that dialogue, I went, a lot's being discussed here within this short frame of time. It sucks that the episode is only 30 minutes, which is actually less than that, like 28 minutes or something like that. But if you really dissect the episode and what you're watching, there's a lot being said in this episode. It felt like it was 5 minutes. The episode really felt like it was 5 minutes. The reason why I felt this one felt super fast is because there was a lot of connection that people can communicate with. Oh my goodness, somebody's in the hospital. There's so much as a family that we have not talked about. I don't care what culture it is, communication when it comes to pivotal things, real estate, health, wills, right? Legal things that people can leave behind. Those things need to be discussed. Here you have an entire family that has had this moment with Molly's mom. The siblings don't even know that she's had a stroke before. Now it's this point to where the truth has to come to the light, whether we want it to be or not. Because we have this moment of this person is unconscious. And we can't even speak to them or communicate with them. You don't even have a playing field of communicating to Molly the legal things when it comes to your real estate. All of those things are super important. And just think about, have you ever been in a situation where something has happened medically to somebody in your family, or they've passed away and the family's completely confused about what to do next? That's important. Death is natural. Death is something that's inevitable. It's going to happen. So why aren't we having these communications within the family? Really, really important. Very, very serious thing that they've mentioned in this episode. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, hit that like button. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at the same profile name. Leave those comments. I really want to know what you think about this one, and share with friends and family. And also look at that pinned comment at other shows that I'm recapping and reviewing. I really want your opinion on that. Check out ABC's original series Queens. Check that out, starring Eve and Brandy. Check that out. Also check out free shows that have just finished. Wu-Tang and American Saga. Check out The Handmaid's Tale. Check out Queen Sugar. There's so much more. In the meantime, in between time, make sure that you check out those shows that are in the pinned comment. These are Emmy nominated shows. Wu-Tang and American Saga. You don't have to be a Wu-Tang fan to understand the series from season 1. I got season 1, season 2. I got all of the Queen Sugars. Make sure that you binge watch and check that out. There's so much more coming. But in the meantime, in between time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye.